Good evening, everybody, and welcome to StatCheck episode 137. This episode gives an additional -2 AP. I hope everybody is doing very well on this fine Tuesday evening. I am calling to you live from our old start time of 12 p.m. because I'm in Central European Standard Time right now. I'm with a friend in the Netherlands, which is why my background is a little bit different to usual. I hope everybody's having a great time. We're going to be talking about the state of the game. We're going to be talking about the new Thousand Suns, the impacts of World Eaters, Death Guard, and Emperor's Children on the metagame as we start to see some more stats coming out of that. We'll be doing the stats. I think we have stats this week, Nathan. That sounds like a thing we probably have.
We do. We have stats this week.
Perfect.
Well, we have our snapshot of stats while we wait for developments.
While we wait for BCP to figure out how to actually do the things they said they're going to do to us, which, one day it'll be all good. So yeah, it's been an interesting week in the side lives of StatCheck hosts. So fingers crossed we can let everybody take their minds off of personal developments for a little bit, and we can talk about Warhammer. I'm Innes. I'm joined by Nathan. I'm joined by Anthony. We're going to be talking about Warhammer today. I hope you guys are all well. Nathan, start us off. How you been? How's your week? How's life?
Man, it's okay. Things are fine. Everything's fine. The world is on fire around me, but you know what? We're going to talk about how Thousand Suns flamer you off the board instead of talking about that. My title has changed as I'm moving back to Chicago from Boston for various reasons, all of which have to do with the current economic situation in the United States and biotech. Otherwise, though, I've been painting and assembling a bunch of knights because they're cool, That's about it. And yeah, also I assembled Bjorn, the Fell-Handed, because he's a cool little dreadnought. It is really funny to learn how tiny dreadnoughts are, though, compared to Armiger models. He's like half the size of an Armiger, which is a very funny scale thing, looking at the Bjorn to the Armiger to the Questoris to the Cerastus behind him, just steadily.
Bjorn's a little baby tiny man who's got the same damage in combat as everything.
I mean, Bjorn is a tiny man who's 10,000 years old and stuck in a metal box, which is okay.
That's where he goes.
And yeah, otherwise I've been really excited about the previews this week for Space Wolves so far. They look kind of fun. Yeah, excited to see how that kind of goes next. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard Peanut make a sound ever.
Pickles, dude.
Pickles, sorry.
Jesus Christ, Nathan.
Get with the program.
That's not even deep lore. That is like surface level StatCheck lore.
God damn it, Nathan.
Damn it. It's okay.
I'm embarrassed for you. It's okay.
I'm embarrassed for myself.
Not as embarrassed as we are. Jesus.
And then the first week of June, I'll be up in Ottawa. I'll be helping ref a 40K teams event happen in Ottawa with Jeremy. That's about it. That's what's going on over here. How about you, Anthony? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm, as of checks notes 2 hours ago, unemployed. Or fun employed, as Ennis called it. I am doing pretty good, though, like all things considered. By the, power of community and savings, I will be okay. So, yeah, things are going okay. Doing a lot of WTC prep, as we get closer and closer to the fucking 1 yard line before the grind season, the worst or best part of the year, depending on your.
The second the slate hits and we all lose our social lives, yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting couple of months, I think. As ever, at least we have the benefit of it not being a new edition, at least, so that's cool. But
the last one of this edition, probably.
You should knock on wood just in case.
That'd be fucking hilarious if they were just like, by the way, dude, welcome to GW Dallas, 11th edition. Bow. That'd be nuts. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else super interesting going on. I've been playing World Eaters. I've been staying sharp on EC. I've been fucking around a little bit. I've been playing a lot of Lord of the Rings, dude. Lord of the Rings is a sick game. It's a lot of fun. It gives me something to focus on that's not 40K or the walls of adulthood closing around me.
What faction are you playing Lord of the Rings, Anthony? We can do the sidetrack. That's fine. People have come to expect the sidetrack from us now.
So I spent a lot of time looking at it, too much time looking at it, honestly, and all of that I spun myself in circles, and through the power of the person that got me into the game, Eric, and lots of us fucking around, we landed on me playing Battle of the Five Armies, which is a Hobbit-based one. So yep, it's honestly it just
playing hobbits.
No. It's not hobbits. It's like I'm playing
The Hobbit.
Thranduil, Beorn, the eagle guy, and then like a bunch of elves.
I was gonna say it would be too on point if you were playing hobbits or dwarves, dude. You can't be doing that.
I was very close to playing dwarves, but I decided against it because they move too slow. So yeah, it's fun. Actually, a second ago when Nathan was like, "Yeah, I've been building Bjorn," and I was like, "Oh, dude, no way!" But and then he was like, "Dreadnought," and I was like, "Ah, boo, lame."
You're a space. I mean, to be fair, Nathan does look like a space wolf, so
I guess.
I don't think I'm nearly jacked or drunk enough to be a space
look,
wolf.
Malort is basically Meowd, right?
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Learning a new game system in the newly found downtime to try to have something to like actually relax while I play with, rather than like the burning need for improvement at every step. Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I don't have anything else to add. There are some mechanics in that game that are really bad, though. I'll never be able to take it seriously because it like has like the priority roll and like there's like fighting is like all or nothing against each other. One of you gets to swing or the other one doesn't when you get into melee, and that's bad. But it is fun, and that's really what matters. So it's not bad in such a way where that it is not fun. Sigmar gets similar praise.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Ennis?
I'm in my 6th country in 7 weeks or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I genuinely, having spent a week in Toronto, a week in England, a week in New York, and a week in the Netherlands now, I don't think I've slept in my own bed for more than 14 days in the months of April and May.
Nice.
And it's really getting to me. But no, I'm having a good time. I'm staying with Martijn in the Netherlands right now. We were just at the Euro Trash Team Championship, which was the event that we won last year.
Yes.
Spoiler alert for anybody: teams Innis did not personally reprise the position of winning the event again,
Innis,
but StatCheck and Scotland are
fuck?
very different environments.
Damn it, Ennis. You had one job.
I did score more points this year than I did last year.
I mean, hard to beat that fucking 10 tennis last year, dude. You're playing fucking Ironstorm.
I know, right? So yeah, I took Olivier's Blood Angels list to Eurotrash. We went with Team Scotland. We played 5 fantastic rounds. We played Germany round 1. We played Netherlands round 2, Belgium round 3, and then day 2 we played Luxembourg and Austria. We ended up having an 0-3 day 1, but a decent bounce back with a 2-0 day 2. We got the win over Austria. We beat Luxembourg, which was pretty solid. We weren't like embarrassingly beaten by Netherlands. It was a 72-88, which we were pretty happy with, given that we had, 2 people who was the first international tournament, a bunch of people had new armies. We were pretty happy with that. I got to play Olivier's Blood Angels list. I championed round 1 for some stupid reason when I didn't have board choice, and I lost 12-8. And then I was like, oh no, hold on, wait, no, this is Olivier's list. Table choice from there: 13-7, 15-5, 20-0, 19-1. I got to experience the glory of putting an 18 on your matrix, which is just. Like every round I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, that's an 18 and that's a 20 and that's a 17. And you just like, dude, you feel powerful playing this list with board when you're getting board choice and you're like, yeah, I'll play World Eaters on my table choice. We're playing on 8, Mr. World Eaters. You have no Forge Fiends. Let's go.
That's
yeah. I got to play against like Bile. I got to play against like shooting Shadow Legion on layout 2 on tipping point, all these great things that just like made me really feel in my heart that I was the guy. There's something truly special about playing this list when you have table choice where Dante is on your opponent's home objective by turn 2. There's just kind of like no alternative situation in there. Yeah, Luis, I did have an 18 against every Chaos Knight player, and I'm pretty sure every Chaos Knight player had like a 4 into me, and they were like they were like, yeah, that's probably accurate. The particularly brutal one was against Luxembourg. I put an 18 on Matrix into Vanguard Neds because I was just like, there is no world where that Norn is living the Smash Captain activation plus anything. Sure. And shockingly, didn't. It took 17 damage. It took 15 damage with the Smash Captain activation because it took no damage from the 2 Lancers, classic Warhammer, and then the Blade Guard finished off. It interrupted and killed a Blade Guard through the reroll 1s.
Yeah, sucks.
It's Norns are. I really like the Norn. It doesn't do any goddamn damage.
It's a cool data sheet.
Yeah, the fact that it had to interrupt. Yeah, it had to interrupt and punch the Blade Guard, and because the Blade Guard could potentially kill it, but because it had to interrupt and punch the Blade Guard, the 11 OC of Assault Intercessors would have out OC'd it anyway with the rest of the stuff that's on the objective, so it didn't even matter. What a stupid data sheet. Watching Gene Stealer's heroic into Dante, and then me going, oh, I guess I'll just kill them instead of the thing that I charged, because the thing I charged was Hormagaunts, was another particular highlight. I really enjoyed that. The last game I got to play against were World Eaters, which is really cool. Armin from the Austrian team had like 3 8-bound squads, 3 exalted 8-bound squads, 2 Slaughterbound, and then like the Karn and the Rhino. He had Invocatus and all that kind of stuff. And like his game plan was face tank me and fight on death. And I can respect that.
Look, sometimes your out is rolling for
his out was he gave it a really good shot, and like my turn 1 was stage really aggressively, kill the Goremonger squad he screened with, and then his turn 1 was throw an 8-bound squad into the fight first Blade Guard squad because he's got to get through it at some point. It might as well be turn 1, so he's got the most time. And what I did instead was heroic 12 inches with Dante onto the middle objective, and then charge his home objective on turn 2. And that was a little brutal.
What?
Yeah, Pickles. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
So I've been having a pretty good time. It's a really fun army. As for why I'm still in the Netherlands, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm going to the German Super Major this weekend. Myself and Nas, and I think a few other people got invited to this, so we got our tickets covered, which is really awesome. Shout out to the German community and Malta for supporting that, because we're going to go out there and we're going to do our best to win this. I think it's like a 300-player Super Major in Germany. It's got a top cut. Hotels are covered for the top 8, all that good stuff. So we're out there this weekend. I have not decided what my list is yet because it's using the GW open format where list submission is 8:59 on the Saturday. So
Why?
I don't really know. I'm going to show up with like 3 armies and be like, who's here? And then make a decision on the spot.
God damn it. I love that you just open up like the freaking like 3 army cases and are like, what sparks joy today?
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna have like 3 different I'm gonna have like 4 different marine lists written, and I'm gonna just kind of like scope around at 8:30, be like, all right, I'm feeling this, and just go on the fly. It's a really stupid format, but it's gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm still in the Netherlands. I'm working from home this week, but we're going to a theme park tomorrow. I met Martine's mom tonight. We made pizza. It was great. I'm having a wonderful time in the Netherlands. So shout out to Martine, who sat downstairs listening to me on a 15-second delay at the bottom of the stairs.
Gotta keep the
because I'm currently stealing his bedroom to stream in because the office is in his bedroom. So Martine can't go to sleep at a reasonable time. But yeah, theme park day tomorrow. It's Martine. Holy shit, dude, that glare is rough.
I was getting blinded by the sheen. Yes, it's true.
So yeah, Eurotrash was awesome. I love going to any of Rude's tournaments. Special thanks to all the guys we played against, and also to the Team Scotland guys for coming out and really drilling down and like having a much better day 2 recovery. Our day 1 was difficult, but Germany and Belgium are better teams than us, and Netherlands is a team we're competitive with. And we were competitive with the Netherlands. We lost teams better us, and we rallied and we beat Austria and Luxembourg day 2. Super happy with that. Could not be prouder of the Scotland guys, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where we continue growing as we push towards WTC in less than 3 months. Anthony, does that make you sad too?
No, I would like it
to be over.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with
I'm
WC.
tired,
I don't know
boss.
why I do this. Yeah, like I get like far away from it, and I'm like, oh, dude, sick. And then I'm like, oh no, I have to like make an academy and then train an academy and then get close to the event and then pick an academy. And I'm like, but once selection's over, we just have to like play Warhammer, and like that's tight, so that'll be all right. And then I we get to like now, and I'm like, this part sucks too. What the fuck?
Where's the good part?
Where's the good bit? And then I get to Europe, and I'm like, oh right, okay.
This is the good bit, yeah.
The
trick the dirty trick that we've both been learning recently is that inviting all our friends to come to events in like America and Canada and Europe feels like exactly the same, but way less stress.
I actually don't feel that way. So WTC is bullshit from like a high level perspective, right? Because in no other like endeavor could you convince like hundreds of your friends to go to one place at the same time, right? And like you just take over some like tiny European town, and you're like, "Sup, this is ours for like the weekend. Thanks." And that's really cool that we get to do that. So like,
WTC has the unique economy of scale of literally everybody you care about is there most years.
yeah, exactly. It's the reason that there's no reason to go to WCW.
Hey, not everybody can make Team America. There's only 8 slots for you guys.
I mean,
So,
there's a billion ways to be like a productive part of
tournament.
Team
For
America
sure.
at the event. So,
But if you
people
want to go and play, there's WCW's a close second if you can't go and play, right?
you can also just go play the fucking War Masters, bro. I'm just saying,
That's true.
there's a lot of ways
Hey,
to participate.
I'm not going to say that on stream. I'm not
Yeah.
quite drunk enough to do that. All right, guys, we are going to move into the stats section. Nathan, so as we've said on the show a couple of times, I will continue to reiterate, BCP is in flux a little bit right now. They changed some stuff on their back end, and we are not currently able to access all of the data that we were previously able to, which is why you're not seeing updates to the dashboard and the ELO. Cliff and Jeremy are still working behind the scenes to catch up on that data based on the fact that we know that we're not going to be getting it for a little while yet. So we will be doing that soon. I believe we should be pushing a database update in the next couple of days. So please do keep an eye out for that. We are really, and I'd like to give a massive thanks to Cliff and Jeremy for putting in their free time to making that happen, because it is a holy crap shit ton of work, and they're doing a great job doing that. But for the time being, we do still have the generic overview. We don't have detachment data. That's the one thing that we're truly missing right now. But Nathan is going to launch us into everything else, and we will go ahead.
All right, let's do it. So, like Anna said, we're working on in the background. We're hopefully going to push an update this week. We might push it next week onto the dashboard. We'll kind of see how things go. There's a lot of data to trawl through to get a complete update to put together. A lot of list checking and faction checking and detachment checking that needs to be done in order for that to happen. And it all needs to be done by hand until our automated tools are back up and running. And that is an endeavor. That's what I will say.
We're basically like working with Goonhammer to get an API built from the ground up to interact with BCP is the current like process that's going on. For anybody who understands anything about it, they all went over my head, but it sounded confusing, which is why I think it's taking so long.
It's okay, Hannes. All right, now on to the stats. This is just from this last weekend. The top 5 factions will go first, and we'll do the bottom 5 factions, and then I'll talk about the event winners just kind of in whatever order I choose. Number 1 faction for the weekend, sorted by win rate, is Imperial Knights. 48 players, 5.4% of the meta.
God, I hate when Imperial Knights are good.
A 56.7% win rate. 3 event wins, 8 top 4s, 14 top 10s, and a 2.22 over rep, which, neat. In second is Chaos Demons. 56 players, 6.4% of the meta. A 56.5% win rate, 1 event win, 5 top 4s, 16 top 10s for a 1.19. In third is Eldari, who have decided to show up again. 51 players, 5.8% of the meta, a 56.3% win rate, 2 event wins, 10 top 4s, 16 top 10s, and a 2.62 for overrep. That is a lot of top 4s, let me say. And then in fourth is Death Guard, 60 players, 6.8% of the meta, a 56% win rate, 4 event wins on their first. This is their first full weekend.
Weekend, yep.
11 top 4s, 18 top 10s for a 2.45 over rep. That's pretty good.
That's a very solid debut week. I will not going to sit here and say that that's not slightly scary.
Yeah,
they also look very good at Eurotrash. German and Belgian Death Guard both went 5-0 pretty convincingly.
And then we have Emperor's Children in 5th place, 39 players, 4.4% of the meta, a 55.3% win rate, 1 event win, 3 top 4s, 9 top 10s for a 1.03 over rep. I think most of this seems pretty easy to have predicted. Death Guard had what looked like a really good codex and really good points with their points update, and then Emperor's Children looked like it took them a little while to get going, but they're going really well.
People have finally realized to just play 3 Demon Princes, and holy shit, it's broken.
Yep. And then Chaos Demon Shadow Legion is still really good. I don't know what Imperial Knights are doing other than playing like 600 points of not Imperial Knights.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah. In the bottom 5, we have Black Templars as the currently worst performing faction in the game. They had 10 players, so we're going to count them. 1.1% of the meta, 25% win rate, which is, we're getting close to the lowest I really can predict with that many players. That's pretty bad. No placements of any kind. Drukhari also had 10 players and a 36.7% win rate, and no placements of any kind. Dark Angels were third from the bottom with 27 players, a 3.1% meta representation, a 40.6% win rate. They won an event, took 2 top 4s and 2 top 10s for a 0.99 over rep. The next faction with 10 or more players is Tau with 25 players, 2.8% of the meta, 41.5% win rate, 1 top 4, 2 top 10s for a 0.53. And then rounding out the bottom 5 is Grey Knights with 14 players, a 43.8% win rate, and 1 singular top 10. In between there is Deathwatch and Imperial Knights, but they had 7 and 3 players respectively, and it's just not worth counting that many players. But they got a 41.4 for Deathwatch and a 40.6 for Imperial Agents. Other event winners from the weekend are Chaos Space Marines, who won an event with a 44.1% win rate for the weekend. Generic Space Marines with an event win and a 45.5% win rate. And then Chaos Knights with an event win, 2 top 4s, 5 top 10s, and a 52.2. And Necrons with a 54.7, just outside the top 5 with 1 event win, 6 top 4s, 14 top 10s, and a 2 for overrep.
At what point are Necrons going to be bad this edition? Like, it's not happened yet. And I'm kind of just waiting for it to happen.
I mean, stuff doesn't have to be bad if it's not that crazy, right? Like, Necrons aren't that wild. They're just like...
I don't know, dude. I activated a Wraith Brick with Ultima with 2 Blade Guard squads, and it was still there at the end. And I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
I mean, you know?
Honestly,
whatever.
I think Necrons are the perfect example of balance approach this edition, though, because they're like not crazy, and they're still doing well and winning events. Like, that seems like the perfect balance spot.
Yeah.
It makes you sad.
True. Well, it makes me sad because why can't that be me? Why does it have to be death? Why does it have to be Necrons?
GSC just got nerfed. You
Bro,
seem to be fine.
I'm talking. Tyranids are my favorite army, and it's not Nids. Nids, goddamn, I hate them.
Nids haven't been good all edition.
Exactly.
Just let them be shit, dude.
It'll be okay, Ennis. Tyranids and GSC will come back next edition, and GSC were good.
GSC are fine. I ain't complaining for shit about GSC. Please don't put words in my mouth. GSC are fine.
I don't think it's really that much of a stretch to put those words in your mouth.
Just don't nerf GSC. That's all I want. Is just don't nerf them. I don't even care
like playing them.
I don't even care if the mission pack makes them worse. Just no direct points changes, please.
You don't like playing them. Why would you care if they got nerfed?
What do you mean I don't like playing them?
You complained the whole time. It's like talking to Brian.
I don't think I complained a single time about playing GSC.
You're like, so many models. My back hurts. I'm old.
Oh, that was a joke.
Dennis, we need to pause for 2 seconds.
I was like, decently
5 people have asked.
I was like decently considering messaging Malta this weekend and being like, hey, could you just like have a GSC army show up for me in Germany? But I'm committing to not doing that.
We need to know if it's a lab coat or a shirt. We need to know what kind of... Everybody's asking what kind of white shirt you're wearing. If it's a shirt, is it a bathrobe?
They can keep asking. Until someone super chats, I'm not telling anyone.
All right.
Oh, there you go. You got a super chat to know.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm gonna start after that charity stream. I'm gonna start leveraging information people want for money.
Nice,
especially since half our team is unemployed now. So
that's true.
So you need to win. You need to go get the bacon for all of us.
Exactly. I gotta help you guys out by making sure we're making some cash.
Sugar daddy and us, dude.
I love it. All right. Other than that, there's nothing crazy in the stats. The window for performance is actually pretty tight. All things told.
Right. Tell me this. Where's GSC? I didn't catch that.
Oh, Genestealer Colts are in 8th with 20 players, 2.3% of the meta, a 53.5% win rate, and 3 top 10s. That's more than usual. That's like 3 times more than the number of Genestealer Colts.
Seth, I am just wearing a linen shirt. It's just a shirt, dude. Don't sweat it. It's not like cool. That's all it is. It's
Fair
just
enough.
it's just a shirt with rolled up sleeves. That's it. Don't sweat it, guys. It's fine.
It's so you can see
I still
Innes's
think-
tattoo when he
I'm-
raises his arms.
I'm gonna prefer to think of it as a lab coat. I think that's funnier.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I very much dropped out of university the first time and barely made it through the second time. I got to ditch my two lowest scoring modules for because of COVID, so which meant I got a 2-1. That was great. I had to do no work in my last 4 months. Thank you,
all.
beginner dude. That's what I wanted to hear. I appreciate you.
Nice beginner dude.
Honest.
Good dude.
All right.
All right, what else we got?
I
Let's
upgrade you
switch
to amateur
gears.
dude, not beginner.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about Thousand Suns, I suppose, since that's how we titled this
Oh,
episode.
Do we have to? Ugh.
Yeah.
Why is
unfortunately.
one quarter of their army rule is Oath of Moment, and then they have 3 more?
Yeah, they have 3/4 more of an army rule just for everybody.
So, have you seen them lose yet?
No.
Me either.
Seems
you-
like a bad
Have you seen
start.
the Vortex Beast run through your opponent's deployment zone?
Well, not through my opponent's deployment zone.
Idiot. You should have considered being your team's Thousand Suns player, like I'm going to be.
I will never consider that.
That's fair. I told
So-
someone else they should go with our GSC.
Oh wow, that's dire. Good luck, other person. That sucks, dude. Having to be like your team's GSC, geez, I guess.
You're gonna sit and have me watching you play, be like, ooh, wouldn't have made that choice.
Or your matrix, or just like the everything about that. God, that sucks. Unlucky. You should just be like a faction defining one trick. I think that is probably the best way to engage in teams, personally.
I mean, I
I
could be, but I think Thousand Suns are better than that faction. So
that's true.
now I do, however, I will say I actually have watched that. I actually have Thousand Suns lose once, which is that I watched them get 18-2 the fuck out by Host of Ascension.
Oh,
So, oh, did you want to put 30 dudes in rhinos on the table? Oh, I'm really sorry about your models.
they can't
Really sorry.
all be in the rhinos against GSC. That's not allowed.
Exactly, my dude. If they're all in the rhinos, you don't get out of them, and if they're not in the rhinos, they're all dead.
Yeah, it's a balance. It's a balancing act.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm ready for another 6 months of GSC dominance. I've realistically, if I will have someone else play Thousand Suns, I'm just gonna play GSC because we all have our prisons, as we all know. But yeah, another WC, another 6 months of Mutilate Vortex Beasts. What the fuck is that data sheet? Why did they give it range?
I don't know. It's funny to me to listen to people who just apparently didn't have 3 Megalith Vortex Beasts after the last WTC.
Dude, that was a reasonable thing not to have. Like,
I saw
Look.
so many people with it, I suppose,
Look.
though, as well.
if Mutiliths are going to be in the game, give me a fucking Slaughter Brute. It's the same goddamn kit. Why?
I
Why?
think the actual thing that we're looking for is let's get rid of the Mutilate Vortex Beast. It's not a 40k model.
Kills me. Kills me. Fucking hate it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think that let's get this out of the way. Thousand Suns is not Mordaka. Right?
No, not even
Simple.
close.
Easy. It has the good grace to have some bad things that can happen to it. Thumbs up. Is it dog shit awful to play against? Absolutely.
They really did do the like, hey, let's change the bare minimum of Thousand Suns. That like they have levers for balance now, right? Like I can see a world where this book is balanced. It's not the one where 80.6 man squads of Zangor Enlightened exist.
Yeah,
Your characters had the temerity of existing and within range of the Zangor Enlightened, I guess. I don't know.
First of all, I get Zangor and Lighten bring up a good point actually. So, and it's not even about Thousand Suns specifically. It happens to be Thousand Suns because they're the only instance of it. But ranged precision is way different than melee precision. When something just scoots around a corner and blows your ass up, oh man, that's so much worse.
The number of like random guard like command squad dudes I've seen die to the Tormentor Meltagun is more than
Yeah.
it should be. And
Yeah.
Zangor Enlightened are like the king of doing that shit.
Yep.
There is a very reward where you're running 18 of them for 240 points. You're just like, characters can't exist in the same zip code as me. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah,
Like they could probably precision Calgar out of his unit, like without it being even that crazy.
Sure. Oh no, all the buffs. See? So this is what happens, right? Like any given thing in Thousand Suns can kill any given thing pretty much in your army. However, not every given thing in Thousand Suns can kill everything in your army, unless it's a Rubik squad with with an attached character. Then
And a Rhino.
you're fucked. But outside of that, you might live, you know? Except that one thing. That one thing's fucking dead. And sometimes that
The
one
thing
thing
Thousand
two
Suns
things.
have like beyond the pale of Oath of Moment. They have Oath of Moment that also sticks +2 AP on that thing if they want it to be. Your thing is like Sayonara, C'est la vie, rest in peace. Really sorry that was Canis. Those 5 Rubric Marines probably killed it.
Yep.
So
sorry,
we're really
buddy.
we're
Should've
talking
tried harder in
about
school.
2 of the new ritual abilities, which are Destiny's Ruin and Twist of Fate, where
Yep.
Destiny's Ruin gives Oath of Moment if you roll high enough, which you probably will with 3d6.
And reroll 1s on your guys that hit on 2s otherwise.
And then Twist of Fate, which is the add 1 AP or add 2 if you roll over 12
Yeah.
on there.
And
like, little
Doombolt's still
table.
pretty good. Doombolt's still there.
Doombolt's still the best. It's still the Typhus ability. It's not God's own Typhus ability, but it's.
I mean,
still
it's pretty
fast.
good. Like, it not having the high end is, you know,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
old Doombolt, but you can't roll a 6, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty it's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild book. It, like I said, the problem to me is not so much that it's like, oh, it's so overpowered. It's too cheap. That seems obvious.
Mhm.
And it just like, again, it's just like, oh, foolish idiot. I, you know, had a character, or I stood on an objective, or I tried to play the game. Dummy.
Were you in range of Magnus? Oh, that was a mistake.
Or line of sight of
Hey,
Magnus.
at
you
least
know,
they
stuff
don't
like
have indirect anymore. Like, I can look at the Thousands book and look at a whole bunch of levers that they pulled. Like, they don't have indirect anymore. And the reroll strat is 2 CP, and there's no CP manipulation mechanics, really. And, like, there's a whole bunch of things in here that say, hey, I can see a world where this is balanced. But at the points it's at right now, it's just not.
Yeah, it's too cheap, right?
Yeah.
It's the Death Guard problem, right?
Why is the Vortex Beast 160?
How we got, you know, 3 Chaos Codex, 2 of them were undercosted, the one that wasn't, World Eaters, but that's okay. Yeah, I think that they just, like, again, the issue is the amount of the stuff that they get, right? It's not, it is a little bit what the stuff's doing, but it's
But,
hard
like,
to,
the stuff that they're doing could be balanced.
right. It doesn't
Right, like,
have
it
to be
doesn't-
bad.
It doesn't feel unbalanceable like the previous one did, where like there was like this, ooh, it's too good, it's too good, it's too good, it's unplayable, right? Like there's at least like I feel like there is a threshold here where you can play New Thousand Suns, and it doesn't make me want to pull my hairs out with tweezers.
Right.
But
I still,
it's not the one we're living in right now.
yeah.
That and the fact that Inferno Masters and the Arcane Vortex didn't change makes me like
Yeah.
furious. That not changing is the thing that single-handedly the most made me just be like, oh, okay, so they want this in the game.
Yeah, the Berserker Glaive getting domed 3 months after it getting used, but the Vortex surviving Index to Codex is like, all right, cool, nice.
How
dude,
else do you normally
sick.
pull your hairs out? Is a solid question. I will not be answering that at this time.
Yeah.
I will say it's also funny that their Chaos Rhino is just very good. Like
Now,
and doesn't
if-
have firing deck
if it
because
keeps
that's also
not
really
having firing
funny.
deck, I'm almost not going to complain. If they give it firing deck, I'm going to pull Games Workshop's hair out with tweezers.
Yep.
It's just funny to me that it doesn't have firing deck. Like the freaking
Keep it.
rubric
It
high
shouldn't.
dust is gonna blow away in the wind if the door's open or something.
Doesn't need it. It doesn't. I don't need to get double Infernal Masters at the top of a Rhino. That never needs to happen to me.
It's true. Plus one hit,
That-
plus one to wound is such a good buff for a transport to give you two in that army, or an army that's already got plenty of ways to get. Like
It's not bad.
Yeah, they have some good shit. I don't like. Look, I think Thousand Suns is merely much too strong. I don't think it's like broken beyond belief.
It's not ending the game, right? Like this is gonna launch in, and your list is going to need to change for Thousand Suns, and probably change to like a lot for Thousand Suns. but it's not Mordaka. It's just not. It is still, at the end of the day, okay, maybe there's a world where 110 goats and 3 Vortex Beasts is a real thing. Like, 4 people are going to play that ever. Yes, they're going to have an 85% win rate. It doesn't matter. You're never going to play against them. And if you do, you were going to lose anyway because they're better than you because they're the psychopath playing that shit. But outside of that, it's still just like 30 Space Marines and some Rhinos and maybe a couple Beasts, right?
I
Like,
mean,
at least it has the grace to die if they make a mistake.
this is where the issue with them being too cheap comes into play, right? Because, like, they die. But unless you kill all of it, now you die.
do too.
And after that happens, we get into the, the aspect warrior problem. My favorite thing that we have in 40K, which is like, that thing's really squishy, but it's a super fast, durable, dynamic warrior, so it has a 3-up, 5-up. And you're like, mother of fuck. Because 3-up, 5-up with a character means that sometimes that thing
unit just doesn't fucking die.
Just doesn't go anywhere. And then it hits you again, this glass cannon hits you a second time, and you're like, no! And then you're just dead. You're out of things dead.
All right,
So,
Liam in the chat says that you can outplay the T-Suns, hopefully. Liam, tell me with God's own grace that you're not going to be the T-Suns people have to outplay, and I'll believe that statement.
I really don't like that he said hopefully. Like, does anyone else just like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, if a doctor was like, dude.
If you're Liam.
Yeah, if a doctor came in and was like, you have a terminal illness and we can do something about it, hopefully. You'd be like, what the fuck? What do you mean, hopefully?
Yeah, and also, Liam, what if it's you? Can you outplay it, or can we outplay it? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like, and then, like, let's take the step down from, like, me and Anthony. Can Nathan outplay it?
Absolutely not. I will drop a pyropod in front of it and we'll die.
Yeah, it's...
But that's just what and Anthony will feel like a pain in his like left eye or something. And be like, I don't know. But let's take a step back though, because we've talked to I think a little.
The one thing I'm truly happy about,
and maybe we should.
You have to play change host to get any CP mechanics, and that if their Demon Princes gave -1 CP, I'd quit 40K. Then they don't, and that's fine.
I mean, look, they're fucked up, but they're fucked up in a way that's manageable, It's a bit, if you look too close, it's a bit like my childhood. It's fucked up in a way that's manageable,
I'm not a therapist, so I don't want to comment on that, but I do want to say that very little about your childhood seems like you managed it. But
it's all right. It's fine now. I'm an adult, unemployed adult, but I'm an adult all the same. Functional enough.
Innes is wearing a lab coat, so he's an expert on this topic.
It's true.
That's true.
I am technically, for the purposes of this show, the closest thing to a doctor, except Nathan.
So just not me, then.
Yes, it is. You are the closest thing aside from me. Yes, you are. It's true.
Yeah.
I should wear a lab coat.
I'm here, and I'm wearing what could be a lab coat.
A white shirt, which is basically a lab coat.
I wear let me. Yeah, now we can go full on. Yeah.
That doesn't. Now it looks like now it looks like a bathrobe.
If I open a cider on stream, will that
like
help everybody stop thinking I'm wearing a doctor?
No. All right. Thousand Suns, too good. Death Guard, surprising, probably also too good.
Both armies have the same problem, right? Where they just have too much shit.
Too much stuff.
Have less
So
shit.
They do in a different way. Death Guard has 90-point hulls that do damage, which should not exist. If you're going to be a 90-point hull, you should do fucking nothing. You should be sad when you shoot at a fucking gaunt. Death Guard 90-point hulls kill God. I watched a game where a Death Guard hull just top to bottom Denisi Prince. Just kapow! See you later, loser. And that shit is 20 points more than Intercessors. And that is not cool. So
if you want to, that's right. If you want to be less than 100 points as a vehicle platform, you should be a Psychophage. That's true.
Yeah,
Psychophage does damage if you let it on a Tuesday. That's it.
Oh, sorry. The fetid bloat drone with heavy blight launcher is 100 points, not
Yes.
90.
20 points more than an intercessor.
Yeah,
Then
that's
an
20
intercessor.
Then the intercessors
unit
are
of
80. That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
said.
I was like, sorry,
Yeah.
I misheard that for a second. I was like, then one intercessor. Damn.
Yeah. And then for what it's worth, I actually got my story wrong. In that story, it was a blight hauler that did it. So it was
That's also
10
90 points.
10 points more than the intercessors.
Sorry.
Molten metals are so short range on the boards we all play on now, right? 24 is in basically infinity nowadays.
I mean, no, it's 18. It's 18, bro. But you used to have to put things in contagion manually, and now you don't.
Haha, I shot you with a blight launcher, or I'm playing as attachment.
There it is. Yeah.
Every hull in the game is like 20 points too cheap, and I'll stand by that till the end of the edition.
I mean, any which way you cut it, sure. But, like, it's just too cheap. Like, the Death Guard stuff is also too cheap.
Yeah, they have Custodes profiles and don't play Custodes points for them. So,
Yeah.
it's-
I definitely think that there are, like, parts of, like, I don't think Death Guard should, let's be very clear. I don't think Death Guard need to get just, like, fucking destroyed.
No,
I
it's
think-
like a point here, a point there.
Calm
Trim
down.
the fat. It's like bloat drones and haulers are probably like just a little bit. Death Strike, probably a little bit. And then
Yeah.
we're like, all right, dude, you're down like the stuff that holds your home objective now, or the stuff that pushes me early, and I can like build some counterplay. All right, sick. I have a plan against you now. That's all I want. I just want to be able to build a plan against them. It doesn't be like, I really hope they don't lethal me to death.
So, should it get nerfed? Probably. Will it get nerfed before WTC? We'll see what GW considers
Almost
to be.
definitely not.
We'll see what GW considers to be the correct amount of data to nerf something, right? A couple
Mhm.
weeks was good enough to take Docker from the game. We'll see if a couple weeks is enough to tune things back a couple steps. They've been smart about stuff like this through the edition. We'll see if that trend continues or if they're, unable to make the changes.
And as a general reminder, fuck you, Noise Marines. I'm standing by this. Noise Marines, 200 points.
That's too much. But,
I don't care. I don't care.
I
I
will
don't want them to be
say
good. I want Noise Marines to be unplayable bullshit.
that's not going to happen.
I
So
know.
the thing is with Noise Marines is that I've seen a bunch of people being like, oh, dude, Noise Marines are going to get fucking nerfed because they can be taken as allies in CSM. What are we talking about? They're going to get nerfed because they're too good in Emperor's Children. They're just too good. And that's fine that they're like a little undercosted, but they're still like a little undercosted for being a little undercosted for being your only shooting platform. They're still just like a bit too cheap. And that's okay.
like the real thing in Emperor's Children 2 that just needs to change is maybe when Demon Princes need to go up a little bit. Like
They
They
need-
bit.
yeah.
like, I don't want to
Demon
quantify
Princes-
these numbers. I don't want somebody sliding into my DMs.
Hey,
and being like,
Anthony,
my
just,
three
just, just
perfect
to confirm again, can we do the thing again where I ask you the question of, hey, how many points more than a winged demon prince would Fulgrim have to be before you take Fulgrim over winged demon prince? And you say that the Fulgrim would have to be less than a winged demon prince.
Yeah, 100%. The Winged Demon Prince and Fulgrim could be the same price, and you would take the Wing Prince. Like,
You might also take Fulgrim after the first three princes at that point. But
if Fulgrim came down,
yes,
you would, to what Wing Princes currently cost. But if you did it the other way, you would definitely take just like maybe one or two Wing Princes, and then you would not take Fulgrim just the same as you do right now.
We
Yeah.
are comparing the worst demon Primarch, basically, right at this
we're
point.
comparing.
Watch
There
it.
are a bunch of other demon princes in. There are a bunch of other data sheets in Emperor's Children. Is
I
Fulgrim the worst non-land raider data sheet in Emperor's Children?
I think
Anthony is so offended. It was
Yeah,
really
I think
funny,
there is-
though.
good odds that you could get Fulgrim to a more playable price point than Angron, where that at least they might be more willing to.
Angron's at least on 100 mil base, buddy.
Angron is also so much slower. It is blinding at this point. I don't like. Have you played with Fulgrim like just at all?
Yeah, he's real fast. when
He's
he can fit.
dude. He whips. He's quick. So like he's not good, but he's really, 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 really fast, and that's cool. Angron,
He's not good. He's just fast. He's Matt Morsoli. It's okay.
yes.
What?
That's Eric, dude. Eric's joke. So
Obviously.
Angron is neither good nor fast, and thus is relegated to fucking deep strike until he can rapid ingress and do something. There is definitely a price point at which you could play Angron out of rapid ingress and just forget that he has auras and hit stuff with him. That's okay. It's not the best use of a 300-point model I've ever seen in my life, but it'll do.
I think World Leaders kind of needed the ability to not take Angron, but they did it in a way that kind
They
of
sure
wasn't
do
good.
have the ability to not take aggro.
Like,
well.
But it feels like they did it in a bad way.
Yeah,
like,
this
they
is
didn't lift up the rest of the army to like make Angron not takeable, like not need to be taken. They like just kicked Angron down some stairs until he did.
yeah. They it's definitely like a task failed successfully situation.
Correct,
I don't
yeah.
consider Angron when I write lists, but it's not like the way Death Guard doesn't consider Mortarion, right? Like I would never consider taking Mortarion in a Death Guard list right now, out of the wealth of options and competitive choices that I have in Death Guard.
But like Mortarion is like kind of fine, but Death Guard can do better than fine. So
Yeah, look, exactly. Death Guard have lots of like really strong competitive good options. In World Eaters, you have
Noise Marines and Fractors and Demon Princes.
that's Emperor's Children, buddy.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
In Emperor's Children,
8-Bound and Karn.
Karn's tight. The Forge
And
Fiends are
Forge
swingy, but when they're good, they're great. Hellbrutes are pretty tight. Like there's some good shit in World Eaters. It's not the best codex I've ever played, but it's all right. You know, it does okay.
It's definitely out there scoring points pretty aggressively.
Sometimes it can be, right? It definitely stands on circles, all right. And that's cool.
It's still got sticky on death, and that's pretty good in shooting matchups.
I mean, it's good in melee matchups, dude. It's just good, like good strat. But like, you know, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Basically.
I will say I'd be shocked if a team took World Eaters if Emperor's Children was an option for that player.
Mm-hmm. Is Magnus still mandatory, you think, in Thousand Suns based on...
I don't think he's
No,
mandatory.
But he's really good.
But he fucking cracks, yeah. I think he helps the army push diff.
It's interesting
Yeah.
because I think that was the other task that I think GW was kind of out to itself, because Thousand Suns for like the last 6 months have needed...
Magnus got a
been
bunch of like
required.
compensation buffs on profile for getting a much worse aura, but it also kind of comes with this thing of like you can use Magnus in such a different way than you could in the codex, because in the index you kind of just, if Magnus died and you weren't Liam, the game plan kind of evaporated because you suddenly like maybe didn't have the damage to push things that weren't on objectives, and even the things that were on objectives maybe took more effort than you were willing. But Magnus now is like selfish Magnus, where like he's got a movement buff that's great for positioning early game, but once you get to like turn 2, Magnus is like, all right, dude, if the right play is to throw me away and like make him take a turn to kill me, Magnus is allowed to do that now, and you don't only get to do that if you're Liam. Like Liam was doing that, but no one else was, because no one else could. And now you probably just can. But there's also a world there where like Magnus is the same points as 2.5 Vortex Beasts or 3 Predators, and like there's a whole bunch of things that you could take that like if you didn't want to play Magnus, you don't probably have to now. But if you want to play Magnus, you can still make him work, and he's still very powerful. But your detachment choice is going to be skewed a little bit by that, probably towards the index detachment as being like the most like valuable Magnus, because you have access to the hit and wound real stratagem, you have access to the blank and all that kind of thing, whereas the other detachments have a little bit more going for, you know, stuff that isn't specifically Magnus.
Yeah, I think
So
there's a lot.
Magnus is still probably the... Oh, go ahead.
He's
Go ahead,
he's.
Anthony.
Were you gonna say the best demon Primarch? Because yes, the answer to that question is
Correct,
yes,
yeah.
correct.
That's still Abaddon, right?
No, Abaddon would be like, if he was a demon and a Primarch, neither of which is true, he would be like third best.
But what's important is that they're all still better than the Lion, every single demon Primarch.
I don't think that's true anymore.
Yeah, maybe not Angron.
I mean,
Is
all right, let's
Fulgrim
do it.
better
Let's do it
than
this way,
the
right?
Lion?
Like, if you come against the Lion with Blood Angels, what do you do besides get fucking dog walked?
I mean, go around the things. You go around him, right? Which is
Okay, but we're doing that then, right? We're gonna be sad while he beats our ass. Is what we're gonna do.
That's definitely true. So yeah, I mean, obviously Gollum is still the best Primarch. Magnus probably falls into second place with the changes.
Yeah, I think so.
Back Gollum is so goddamn stupid.
Gilliman's pretty good.
So,
All right.
what are some adjustments that people should make right now to account for Thousand Suns then, and for Death Guard, and like what?
You
kind of things
definitely
are
want to
people kinda
consider
watching
how
out
you
for?
kill a Vortex Beast at range.
Or what detachments have like mortal wound or psychic protection, right? Like so like for Emperor's Children specifically, right? Like rest in peace Carnival, you were a fun ride. Unfortunately now you can literally only play Coterie. Good luck out there in the world, people, right?
4 up field against mortal wounds is going to be doing work for you.
Yeah.
Libby Conclave, yeah, there we go. This is the thing that all of the 15 Terminators with 3 Librarians, Teleport Strike Force Perverts have been waiting for.
Yeah, so that they can get destroyed by non-psychic flamer attacks.
Those at least do less damage into you now because they don't get the +1 AP. Like that is a very real
What?
thing, is that the non-psychic damage has gone down for Thousand Suns.
Not if they're shooting.
One thing, right?
Dude, just Teleport Strike Force have lots of assets that I'm fucking missing under the rug somewhere.
All right. No. Triple Null Rod Canoness and Sacrozap Bricks. Yes, let's do it, actually. I want to see you play that. You can be the 3rd best Triple Null Rod Canoness player in Canberra. I believe in you.
Nice.
The 3rd best. Funny. So, adjustments for Thousand Suns and Death Guard.
Ranged anti-tank, mortal wound
You better be able to
defense.
crack rhinos, yeah.
Yeah. Ranged anti-tank, mortal wound defense.
Okay.
Good luck.
And that works both.
Stuff
Death
that
Guard
can
and
get over
Thousand Suns
Zangor
kind of
screens,
appropriately.
potentially,
Yeah.
if you're playing against a mutant detachment. Like, stuff with Fly, it's pretty good. Stuff that
This
can
is
wrap
all
a
just like
Rhino.
stuff that's already pretty good, but just like, you
Yeah.
know, kind of like that's the stuff you're looking for, right?
You should do the things that we do in Warhammer that make you not lose games to randomly getting move blocked.
I will say, yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Balanced data slate. That's the last thing we can do.
In Josh, we trust.
Plugs in us.
Play GSE. That's the real trick.
Oh my god. Wow. Nice work.
I'm genuinely I'm working on converting people to like. Normally, when I like do a video about a faction or I talk about it on the show, there's like at least a decent amount of people that are like, "All right, that sounds interesting." With Host of Ascension, I literally have to go one by one through people. I'm like, "Hey, let's spend a week convincing this person to play Host of Ascension."
Just nobody wants to play Gene Stealer Cult except you and Floof. You are the only 2 people I know who want to.
Shout out to Nick, who went 4-2 at Cherokee this weekend with Host of Ascension. Well done. You did great. I'm proud of you, buddy.
But did Nick want to do it?
Yes. Opted into it. Could have played other things. Plugs. All right, guys. If you are an hour into the show of us genuinely just talking bullshit, we hope you're enjoying us enough to leave a like, a comment, and a subscription. All of the usual things. It really does help us out with discoverability and being able to bring more of what we're doing to you guys. We hope you're enjoying it. Obviously, there's going to be more bonus content coming out onto the show as of course. Last week we had the Mind Goblins video. I should be recording a video on Thursday to go live on the main show as well, or on the main website as well. So yeah, please do keep that a look at that. If you're in a position to support us a little bit more, you can check out the Patreon or YouTube memberships, which are linked in the description below. And for $5 a month, you can support us. You get access to the Patreon Discord, which is a wonderful, wonderful hub of chatting shit and also probably talking about real things, sharing food pictures, pet pictures, and discussing the new rumors, releases, and everything. All the stuff that we don't talk about on the show because it's not official yet. It's all getting chatted about in there. So if you want the hot takes before the hot takes, that's where it's all going down. Do check out patreon.com/statcheck for information about that. If you'd like to see any other shows on our network, particularly Take All Comers right now, the only one that's currently actively recording, you can check out youtube.com/statcheck. We're live every Tuesday at 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Eastern, and various other times around the globe to chat to us about all things Warhammer. You could also catch all the 136 back episodes of StatCheck if you would like to do that, to hear even more of us prevaricating, chatting nonsense, and talking stats as the game goes on. You can check out our sponsors, all linked in the description. That's J15 Games, Saltar Games, Whale and Yutani, and obviously our title sponsor, Red Dragon. You can find all the links in the description. You can also find discount codes and various other things. If you want a discount code to the Red Dragon, there's a 15% discount code available through patreon.com/statcheck, which we highly recommend you check out. You can also check out stat-check.com/coaching if you would like to speak to any of our individual coaches. I'm going to, Nathan, pick one of our coaches that I've not spoken about already, and I'll tell you why they're good and why you should go and talk to them. I did Liam and Nas already.
Tyler.
All right. Tyler is a fantastic grind player. If you want to learn how to play some of the toughest armies of the game, some of the most interesting and intricate armies of the game in a meticulous and outgoing way where you are the board control, you are the person that your opponent goes, God damn, I just never felt like I had to open that game. Tyler is your man. If you want to play Horde Admech, Horde Gene Circle, board control armies, gargoyles, unending swarm, all that kind of thing, Tyler is one of the most interesting players in the world to chat to for that, because he's got a very different perspective on those kind of things. Go check him out. He is a really, really interesting person to speak to. He's on European time zone as well. So if you're in Europe and you want to get one of our coaches, then do go and check out Tyler Portel. That's stat-check.com/coaching, or drop his email at coaching@stat-check.com. Get in touch with any of us. Obviously, there are a bunch of coaches available on the network. There is somebody out there who is there for you if you want to speak to them. Yeah, you check that out. There's descriptions for everybody. There's information about how to get in touch with us. And yeah, we would love to hear from you, especially as we launch into a new mission pack in the next couple of weeks. I expect this to be a busy time. Get in contact now, and it'll be easier for you to be first on the rocket when all that changes. I think that's all I've got to do on the plug side of things. Nathan, why don't we do questions?
Sounds good. Oh, look, Anthony's back. All right.
Whoa.
I'm going to do, so the ways to ask questions and have them get answered are to either A, do a super chat in the chat, or B, ask a question in our Patreon Discord. Those are the two ways that we will certainly answer your question on air. Otherwise, we will try to get to questions that are posted in chat if they're interesting, but most of the time we have too many questions to go through between super chats and the Patreon Discord, and we don't want to stay here for 5 hours. I'm going to go through the super chats first because some of them are, in fact, not questions. The first one is just a question from Ben. Thank you for being a member for 4 months. Will we get another episode of Innis Bakes this week?
Probably not. I'll try to do some when I get home, but not while I'm in the Netherlands.
The next one is thank you for the $5 super chat from Tom Haverneck. Ragnar stands before you, proud, broad-chested, wolf-like king.
No. Someone wrote
Emperor's perfect warrior.
Stop
it. You have to go into the StatCheck Discord and read it.
What is your purpose? You ask him. The next $5 super chat is from my favorite name for somebody in our chat so far, which is just more Daka, which I don't know, I just kind of approve of. Played my first game since early 9th at a 100-player GT Saturday and had a blast. Likely never would have without finding StatCheck. So thank you. Well, thank you for awesome. The $5 super chat, and thank you for the kind words. Thank you to Ben McJurk, who now also gave us $2 in a super chat that asks, should I play Host of Ascension?
Yes, you should play Host of Ascension. Ben, I think you'd be a great Host of Ascension player because you're the kind of psychopath that you could be nice enough to your opponent that they'll have fun while you're beating them to shit with Host of Ascension. And I think that'd be great for you. I think you would be a very, very interesting person to see playing that kind of army. It's basically Bridgehead, bro. You had a great time on Bridgehead. Go do it.
And then thank you to Davalos for the 10 Singaporean dollars, which just says, Nathan, please read Ashley T's Ragnar fanfic.
It's in the StatCheck Discord, and I did say that you have to if we got $5 of donations. So
what?
No.
I mean, if people donate enough money,
we've had 15 now.
It's literally live reading smut. Like, sure, is that a thing that we want to open as an option? Because
we can leave the last words off.
What are we doing?
Just fucking about. Thank you, KR Quintero, for the $1.99
Probably
chat,
for the best.
Which says custodes switch to shield host for mortal wound protection. Yes or no?
Isn't that less?
Collins has that better though.
I was gonna say, isn't that less mortal wounds protection? Also, you can get juked and shoot shield host. They could be like Doombolt, and you're like mortal wound protection for the phase. And they're like, anyway, and go somewhere else, and that sucks.
Yeah, if you want that, play Talons. Actually, play Null Maiden. Let's do that.
All right. Now over to the Discord where we have some questions. The first one is from Isaac. Now that we have all the Colt Marine books, what do you guys think of them? Which has the best internal balance? Which has the best external balance? And which is going to be the best in the meta?
World Eaters has like really solid internal balance. Their external balance is just kind of off. I don't know. I feel like everything in World Eaters feels kind of fine.
Like a bunch of stuff is usable, but their detachments are just like 4 shit ones, 2 decent ones.
That's true. I'm more thinking about data sheets, I suppose.
Yeah.
Emperor's Children has like really interesting build, like very little build diversity, but what it does have is really strong externally. Thousand Suns feels like it has a ton of direction, and like all of it seems pretty decent, and the detachments are like quite solid for supporting all of it. And Death Guard just feels like it's got everything is a variable in Death Guard. And kind of going through Death Guard, I kind of struggle to find a data sheet that I don't think is at least kind of playable somewhere. Like the filers are going to suck on WC terrain, but if you're on GW, I think 3 of those is not a bad shout.
Yeah, I definitely think it goes like Thousand Suns, Death Guard, kind of, and then Emperor's Children, and then World Eaters if we're going down power rankings externally, right? But Death Guard and Thousand Suns feel like they got the best internal balance of the lot.
I could see Death Guard being better than Thousand Suns if Thousand Suns is like a little worse than we predicted is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the inverse either. But Death Guard and Thousand Suns definitely seem the front runners, which is crazy given how good EC is.
And then Isaac's second question is, what's your strategy against 100 Zangors teleporting at you for 5 turns plus 3 metaliths?
Overwatch, please. Screen, bring infiltrators again. Space Marine players, you're also greedy not playing infiltrators.
Frank has a question, which is, what are you guys hoping for with the new mission pack? What would you want them
Supply drop from fuck off.
Fair. And the second question from Frank is, the Challenger seems like an early contender for oops, we broke the game. What would you want to see so they aren't ridiculous from day one? If they end up being ridiculous, do you think TOs just outright cut them or house rule them into a reasonable state?
Do they seem that bad?
Catch-up mechanic?
Oh, they're pretty fucking stupid, but like we'll see what the full context of is with them soon.
Yeah. Pius asks, do you prefer it when a new edition goes back to indexes or keeps the old codexes?
Codexes.
I like codexes. Yeah.
They need a points update as it goes live, but I generally think that the transition editions are better than the full reset editions because we don't have to relearn all the lessons we already learned because they're already there and happening.
Yeah,
they're obviously less flexible. Like 6th and 7th felt a lot like 5th 2 and 5th 3 rather than being new editions per se. And I think the same is kind of true with 8th into 9th. And then the reset into 10th is, like it's been very different. But a lot of the lessons that we learned in 8th were carried through into 9th, and that wasn't necessarily true in 10th edition. And I think that if 11th is a soft reset edition, they've learned, especially with the growth of the game, there's been so much learned in 10th edition that I can only imagine that a soft reset is better than a hard reset.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from McWhirp. First one is, what are your thoughts on the recent trend of misses on rules power level? Have we hit the latter half of 9th edition style period of constant codex creep?
I mean, it's starting to seem that way. The books are more like exciting, but they're also like they're more fun, right? In general, like for like if you're an X pilot, they're more like fun. There's more.
You have so many more options in new books than in old books, right? It feels like there are viable builds, viable directions. Yeah. Like it feels like there's really a lot of, but it feels like the top end of it needs to be tamed down a little bit with points balance. It almost feels like the books are written so that people can play them for 3 months, then get points balance to being fair.
Right. Yeah, they come out a smidge too much. Sometimes significantly too much, I think, in the case of like Death Guard and T-Sons, right? But I think that's I've said this for a while that like even earlier in the edition, I would prefer a world where we have like soft to medium codex creep than a world where you're a Tyranids player at the start of 10th and you're like, yeah, that's my book. For the edition, that's my book. Like, that sucks. Like, no one wants that.
It also works pretty well with the new detachments they're printing with each data slate.
Right.
Of being like, hey, we get that your book was kind of, here's a new thing that stands up to the new power level that
Yeah.
brings you more into the conversation. That at least feels like there are directions. If there's a new thing that competes with Invasion Fleet for the best thing you can do with Tyranids,
That would be
is
sick.
reasonable power level compared to Death Guard and Thousand Suns, that's going to open up a bunch of direction for Tyranids, even if it's limited. And then there can be, points upgrades to go along with that. If the power level is raised steadily for everyone, it feels okay. Especially with the game is not so turbo lethal with the new terrain layouts, right? We're not playing on last edition GW boards, which had the 4 massive plates and nothing else kind of thing, right? If you're playing on not GW layout 5, you're probably having at least an okay time.
It's okay. The edition's not in a bad spot. Broad stroke, I do think that they've lost the plot a little bit on these last 2 books, and as long as they don't continue to drop stuff just extremely undercosted, I think we'll be right.
Yeah, the next 2 books are Knights and Grey Knights, right? That can't ever go bad.
I mean, it definitely can, but I'd like to believe. I'm just going to choose to believe that they've learned from their mistakes of making things too cheap, and they'll be better about it.
The next question from Rick Work is, what do y'all think of codex releases that are happening so close to a data slate that the problems in the codex, Ynnari, potentially Death Guard drones, 1,000 Suns, don't get reviewed because we don't have the data until 4 months later?
I fucking hate when that happens. It drives me nuts every time, basically.
If they're good with doing more DACA emergency nerfs, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
If they're not, then they need to stop doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's that's the crux of the issue, right? Is that more DACA was way out of band, so it had to come down. But these aren't that. They do affect the game in a broadly negative way, but not to the point that they're gonna break whatever protocol it is that they have. That's well, we don't like to make changes. So
I significantly doubt that either of the armies will be tracking 65% win rates.
Right. So,
it does really feel like Ynnari doesn't need nerfed now in retrospect, but
no, I still think Ynnari.
I still think it's going to. But
yeah, I think needs to change. I think that we have a very specific view as extremely high level players of the game, playing factions that are built around dealing with the potentiality of playing it, particularly in your case when you were playing GSC and it never mattered how good they were. I think that what Ynnari does is fundamentally fucked up and needs to change. And hopefully Ynnari changing and getting hit will open up the ability for other Eldar builds to look and work well. And if there are point changes associated with a Ynnari nerf, that's fine if they can just come down later, right? But yeah.
That's fair. I do think the Ynnari brain melt is too high, as Bruce said.
It's awful. It's a genuinely miserable play experience.
The next question is from Bobby the RPG Luminary, which says, "Hi diddly ho, Stat Checkerinos. With the new season mission cards releasing in a couple of weeks and an impending MFM/rules update, what changes do you foresee coming to competitive 40K? Conversely, what changes would you like to see? As always, thank you for your time and
Can we
hard
bring
work."
Tempting Target back?
That would be sick.
I miss Tempting Target. Dude, that was such a good secondary.
Yeah.
You can get rid of Mark for Death. Mark for Death's way worse.
There's a lot of...
I want to see Mark for Death change to be your opponent picks 2 and you pick 1. If you get one of the ones your opponent picked, it's 5. You get the one you picked, it's 2.
You know what would be sick?
I like that.
If they gave us 3 different categories of secondaries, and then at the beginning of the game we picked 1 from each, and then maybe there was some in there that were specific to what army you played in some way, shape, or form, so that they could make an asymmetric warfare thing happen.
You've lost me. I'm out. This sounds awful.
Oh, weird. It seems like it might be cool.
The next question is, Innes, are you going to pick up any of the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering Commander decks?
They are really expensive. So stat-check.com/coaching, maybe.
I'm definitely interested in that set quite a bit.
I've seen a bunch of stuff that I'm interested in. The I'm not gonna lie, I immediately fell in love with the Ishin 2 Heavens' 1 that's reskinned as Lightning. It just they put cute girls on my Mardu staples. I want that. And VV looks like good fun. So there are a few things that I'm there for. But the set's really expensive, and it seems like the availability is quite hard to get. So I'm probably not
Yeah.
chasing it, especially since I'm like in prep for WC mode right now, which is expensive. As anybody who's done lots of international tournaments knows, it's not a chill time of the year. So the Final Fantasy stuff is very much like, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it, but I'm not going to stress it right now.
I think
Yeah,
the funniest part of like one of the funnier parts of BFS was Ennis being like, "Yeah, I just can't get into arena. It's too expensive." And then him being like, "Oh shit, dude, $400 card." I was like,
But that's
"Whoa."
not gonna. That's sitting on my shelf now, and it's probably not gonna leave. I'm just gonna let it appreciate in value. I don't.
That's
really
what I'm
care.
saying. Like the in-person one cannot be cheaper.
True.
No,
I
because
think-
that's like a special variant of it. Like the base one is like 30. But
Yeah.
yeah, sure. I
How
pulled
many
an
cards are in a Magic deck?
Sure. I pulled a Ghostfire Japanese Elspeth for anybody who's
Ooh.
listening, like the really like the
Nice.
top end one, but in Japanese, so it's like half the value, unfortunately. But I did pull that out of the one collector booster I bought in Target, so I can't.
You're terrible, and I hate you. That card's so good.
It's in Japanese. I have no idea what it does.
Yeah, the internet doesn't exist. I can't load up my phone and look up Elspeth.
There's no
I'm
way to
usually using
know.
my phone for the fucking life tracker, right? In Commander. So
Just print it out.
No.
Just
no, then I have to
the
remember to no.
options.
No, that sounds like too much effort. I just gotta
Oh
learn
my
Japanese so I
God.
can play my Elspeth.
Okay, you do that. All right. Next question. Scott M. Oh, man, we already talked about T-Suns a lot today. They're perhaps too cheap for what they do, and they do a lot of things really well, and perhaps some of that needs to get tamped down via points.
Yeah.
Gran, hello, Anthony. What's the list you like the most from new World Eaters? Also, Hellbrutes, yes or no?
I love Hellbrutes. They're great. You just can't expect too much from them. They cost 120 points. Treat them like that. Everything will be fine. I run 2 to 3 in almost every list I write. The exception to that being Demonkin, where I run 1. I play both Demonkin and Berserker Warband right now. I think both have their merits. It just depends on what you're trying to do. I don't particularly have a favorite. There's like 4 or 5 variants of Berserker Warband builds I think are good. There's 2-ish of Demonkin.
What's your sort of like if you were saying like general core, first 3 units for a few units people put in your list, what's gonna be in every list basically?
So Karn goes in every list except in Demonkin. Karn goes in every Berserker Warband list, I should say. Probably goes in every Goretrack Onslaught list too, but that army doesn't seem very good to me. It's not like awful, I should be clear. Like it's not like, Sky Splinter it is not. It just tries really hard to be Sky Splinter.
It's got a bit more going on when you're not in a transport, right? Is the main thing with it.
Not really, but we can pretend. What else
Forge
is good
Fiend?
there? Forge Fiends, yeah. So I go back and forth on them. I think I would probably, in the meta that exists right now, and in the one that seems to be coming, want like 2 to 3 is probably the right number. And then it depends a lot on your terrain format, right? Like they're really good on UKTC. They're very effective on GW. They lose a step on WTC. And then you kind of just like figure it out from there. Yeah, I mean, I think probably some of the more controversial pieces are like Demon Princes, like a Foot Prince. He's very good when he's good. There are definitely some matchups where he like catches a grenade, gets charged by JPIs, dies, and you're like, cool. But for the most part, quite good. I think that's pretty much it. Like those are all like the main assets. A Hellbrute, again, I take 2 or 3 depending on.
You're
what I'm
probably
doing.
taking like at least 2 squads of base 8-bound in most lists, right? Just for
I usually don't play them in Demonkin, just because I'm trying to like
they don't
fastball.
buff. They don't buff everything in Demonkin, right? Where you're taking a bunch of stuff that doesn't necessarily benefit from them.
Oh, I'm not worried about that at all. You would take them for their standalone data sheet. You would use them for the fact that they get buffed. Frankly, that's like a weakness of Demonkin as I've been running it, is that there are a bunch of strats that are like, dude, this World Eater unit gets blah blah blah, and I'm like, my spawns, because I don't really have anything else to like give that to. So yeah, for the most part, like I said, I don't think World Eater's not like some like crushingly awful like burn Nottingham down book, right? It's just like a little boring.
If you were playing it to move 35 inches turn 1, it doesn't do that anymore, and I can see why people are upset if that.
I
was
mean,
what it went to the
it
faction.
might not cumulatively move 35 inches from like 1 through 3 And that, is a bit different to how it used to work.
Yeah.
So there are definitely parts of it that are less exciting. It is definitely good still. I would never call it bad.
We were like fairly. We took it to Eurotrash. We were pretty happy with it in every game it played.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were the only team to have like an even vaguely successful world leader, though, right? Like the other two teams combined, like they fusion danced and made like
For
20
a
points.
win, yeah. Which,
Yeah.
like to be fair to Seb, Seb's got a really strong back playing for Luxembourg and has to make some magic happen against a team like Germany or Netherlands or Belgium while
Yeah.
playing on Luxembourg. But yeah, our one like did its job. We paired for it reasonably aggressively because Ryan's one of our better players, and it mostly delivered when we paired for it, and it was not terrible when we didn't because like it's not awful at scoring points.
It's good. It's like, again, it's a good army. The testing I've done of it so far doesn't get blown out in losses. Its wins are not usually crazy unless there's like a big like fight phase like flip thing that happens.
Don't get heroic by Dante. I will tell you that for free. Don't get heroic by Dante when you're charging a squad with fight first. That was bad. Do not do that.
Yeah, I mean, don't charge a squad with fight. A lot of that is bad. There's like several reasons that's bad. Or don't do that while you don't have fight on death. I have so many.
He did.
Whatever.
It's fine.
I have genuinely no idea how I would lose. What steps would have to happen for me in the new Eaters book to lose to Blood Angels? I have no idea how I would do that. But like, if there's one matchup New Eaters is really fucking good at, it's T4 squishy losers, right? Like it's got that on lock. So I have no idea. They're like, dude, I got all these blade guards. Like, have you met the World Eater Codex where we have more damage 3 than anything released?
Man had no Hell Brutes, no Forge Fiends. That definitely helped.
Yeah, if you don't take the parts that are good into it, you too can get fucking scammed.
That's why I had it as a 14. It was fine.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. In general, I don't.
Two Hell Brutes, I'd have been like 12. Best.
I think World Eaters is really good at its role that it had before in a team for the most part. It is really good. It's like, it's one of, if not the best combat army at fighting other combat armies, right? It's retained that role for the most part, right? I think
it's not hard to get that fight on death active. Not hard at all.
I mean, you often have it active when you wish you had something else. And that's okay. Like sometimes, it's just not something else, and that's not a big deal. There's a lot of things that World Eaters like could be good at and are like kind of waiting for the rest of the meta to chill out a little bit. Like Sticky on Death is way cooler when someone's not got like their 15th 90-point drone on your objective with you, and you're like, okay, good job,
On that depressing note, the next question is from Sean, which says, do you think GW will fix their mission deck supply this time around? Hopefully, because it was hard to get pariah decks for a while there.
We're a stat show, not a logistics show. Really sorry.
Do have a degree in that, strangely enough, but we'll talk about that.
I do, but let's not think about too hard about what my degree is in, because I don't use my degree very often.
It's in
I
logistics?
mostly use... No, my degree is in business management.
Oh.
Which has a strong
that
focus on like
logistics
and supply chains and things like that. Yeah, it's... My degree is not like a thing I use a lot. The accountancy bit helped for like making sure I don't get scammed, but that's about it.
Got it.
All right. Next question is from Bearded Horus. Anthony, you said you're keeping sharp on Emperor's Children. What detachment is your favorite, and is Lucius worth taking?
Carnival is my favorite, but that doesn't matter anymore because we're in the part of the year where the goal is not fun, the goal is to win. So it's mostly been Anthony plays Coterie. I think Lucius is worth it. I would have a hard time not running Lucius. I also, you'll see this in basically every list I've ever written, have a really hard time not including the pieces that let me slam dunk melee mirrors, right? I'm just like, I don't fucking play with those, because when we go to a teams event, I like to be like, who's the melee guy on their team? Let's party, Papa. And if that's not an option, I'm probably not going to enjoy the list as much. So, Cypher, Nemesis Claw, Karn for ages, MOE for ages. Like, I take the anti-melee assets in my combat army to make sure I don't lose a melee mirror, right? Lucius is one of the best versions of those. In that, most scary melee-based things have characters attached or have legs, which is apparently enough for Lucius. so you get to beat ass with rerolls. So I think Lucius is worth it. It's also 2 up, 4 up with a Feel No Pain, and that shit is disgusting.
Next question is from Neil, which is, with the slate around the corner, which Codex army are we hoping gets another Hopium detachment to keep them going?
Nids.
It's got to be
please,
Nids,
for
right?
the
I feel like
love of
everybody's rooting
fucking
for Nids.
Christ.
Like even the like last person that got Crusher Stampeded, like the last game of Crusher Stampede that was played, and that guy got his soul destroyed. It's probably like Nids could probably use a bit of a buff by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be everybody rooting for Nids.
Nick K asks,
I want that Ravageur data sheet to be good so badly that it's hurting my feelings when I
hope
think
it's
about it.
just complete nonsense. I hope it like lets you reroll ones against buildings.
I will kill
against,
you in like
against fortifications.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Nick K has the next question. How are you using Death Guard in pairings at Eurotrash?
So we day one were kind of a like second or third defending with it or attacking with it into things that it felt good into, and it was going like not great. Day two we started first defending with it and it felt pretty good. When it was just like, hey, it'll play anything if it's got its board. And so I'm still wanting to experiment with it a little more. A lot of the teams we paired against first defended with it, and it was looking pretty good in that situation as well. First or second defending feels where it's probably going to be strongest.
That makes sense.
It does like a board.
Ivan has the next question, which is, what's y'all's go-to meal or energy drink for a long tournament day?
I have coffee in the morning with no breakfast, maybe a banana. I have lunch of whatever the fuck my lovely coach at the time can get me. Finn.
I too open my morning of an event with coffee and no breakfast, and then have a monster like lemonade energy drink halfway through the morning.
As a white monster, I like white monster.
Yeah.
No,
I actually don't want to. Recently, my personal favorite monster option is Ultra Strawberry Dreams, which is lovely, and I've been having a great time with that. I'm not sitting in a toilet, Craig. Thank you. This is Martine's. This is the entrance to Martine's.
It's because
bedroom.
once he said it, I was like, it does definitely look like a
Can't
bathroom.
unsee it.
There is a banister right there.
That doesn't matter. It looks like a bathroom. Like,
How fancy are your guys' bathrooms?
I mean, you've seen my bathroom.
Yes, it's not this fancy.
That's true. I don't
there
have to
is-
wear a lab coat in my bathroom.
is-
That's true.
There is cat shit in your bathroom.
It's not a.
Yeah.
It's not a biohazard.
That's where it goes. What do you mean?
All right. Next question. How much do Emperor's children suffer if Winged Demon Princes and Noise Marines go up?
I mean, no army's happy when its 2 best units get nerfed, but I just think it means they have less of the other stuff. It's not like they're gonna disappear. People like it drives me nuts. This happens every time something gets nerfed. People are like, dude, fucking went up 5 points. Got to cut them all out of my list. And it's like, whoa, slow down. Like, yes, it's worse, but maybe still the best thing there because that's why we were running it in the first place.
Yeah. The next question is for me from Jeff Death Company Forklift, which is still my favorite name here.
It's the best.
Which is Nathan, who is Peanut. Peanut is the cat of a friend of mine from graduate school.
Got it.
My brain immediately was like, this is a P-named cat. And then I said Peanut. So there you go.
Autofilled.
Congratulations.
I think we should get him, guys. Get him.
Get me? Get me what?
Yeah, get him.
Fair. And then Jeff has a real question, which is...
Nope.
Nope,
Oh,
that's your
never mind.
only
You're fine.
question.
I thought you were going to read the thing again.
No. No, that's not a question. That's a request. And that's not going in here. Which is... To be more serious, assuming society doesn't collapse before 11th edition and that the detachment system is sticking around for at least until 12th, would pivoting to larger but fewer detachments be better than the current 4 enhancements plus 6 stratagem limit?
You know, it'd be really cool if they, instead of having a whole bunch of detachments, just had like a common pool of stratagems that you could pull from that worked on everything. And then maybe we had like slightly fewer datasheet rules and pulled the general power of the game down by taking it out of free use datasheet abilities and put it into stratagems.
I see. I like it. Cool. I wish we would go back to the old system from 9th edition or 10th edition where we're 9th edition where we had cool sub factions that basically were just like 2 stratagems and 2 enhancements, and we were done. But I'm a crazy person.
We should get rid of
so-
all stratagems and just off datasheet abilities, like my back in the day 5th edition.
Dude, if they're gonna just give everyone a datasheet ability, I'm actually all right with that. That's fine.
Fair enough. All right. Next one is from Goran. How can Berserker Warband handle high toughness lists like 6 big demons or tank spam now that strength peaks at 10?
Well, in World Eaters, all right. So like, you know how like when Chaos Marines packed and then they pick the buff that isn't sustained, and then suddenly they're really good at killing stuff that's big, despite their low strength characteristic. In World Eaters, if you roll 2 5s or 3 2s, you too. Not that we used it much before, but now this new power we have unlocked can have the lethal characteristic on all of your melee attacks.
As a reminder for anybody who doesn't know this, if you wound on 5s, lethal hits is mathematically equivalent to sustained hits 2, which is the rule that was so broken, Mordaka died.
Yeah.
If
So-
you wound on 5s, if you wound on 6s, it's sustained hits 5, which is a wild number that no one's printed. And that's why GSC is good, because lethal hits is sustained hits 5 when you wound on 6s, and you wound on 6s quite a lot as GSC.
So
And if you would have 4s, it's the same. They're both it's sustained hits 1. It's really good.
Yeah.
Lethal hits is a powerful ability that I think people ignore more than they should.
yeah, look, in the old book, ignoring lethal made some sense. We were re-rolling wounds and +1 to wound and re-rolling hits.
You had to get there.
You had to make it to melee. Granted, you still have to make it to melee, but the blood table can't help you with that anymore. So you just put that shit in the nothing box and you keep it moving, you know? So, but when you get to melee, you kill the big stuff by rolling lethal. And if you roll those dice and you fail to roll lethal and you don't have an icon on objective, just kidding, bitch, that doesn't matter anymore.
If you didn't kill some stuff with Karn last turn.
Yeah, hopefully, without lethal that you didn't have last turn either. Anyway,
Karn's a hero. He did got there.
if you can manage lethal, you're actually fine. There's all of this to be like a really long bit to say, like with lethal and sustain, it's usually.
I've never seen a World Eaters player miss the 2 buffs they wanted since the book changed.
Oh, that's not true. I miss it with alarm. I have reroll dude. I reroll charges so much, I might as well be an orc army from fucking 9th. Like the amount of times I'm like, ooh, 2 1s. Really could have used anything the fuck else. God damn it.
I've literally never seen anyone not just get the 2 things they wanted.
Oh no, dude. The snake eyes on the blood roll with like, I had a game the other day where it was like turn 2 and I rolled the blood roll and it was like 2, 4, 5, 6, 3 1s. And I was like, fight on death, I guess. And then just like, just that, nothing else. Off you go, boys.
Grim.
Tier.
My World Eaters opponents consistently get Angron back.
I
They're
mean,
not
that says a
doing
lot
it.
about the quality of your World Eater opponents.
I mean, just like in general, they're rolling triple 6 every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My World Eaters put it in my last game was like, yeah, if I roll 5 6s for the 3rd time, which he did, can I get an Angron?
Can I just get Angron spawning in my list from nowhere? Sure.
What you can get is new dice.
Mm-hmm. All right. The next question is from Lucas Erickson, which is Innis. After host, what other things in GSC look interesting?
All right, let's level with you guys. All right, Final Day isn't a real detachment. It's a psychological warfare tool created to make you think that terror data sheets are good enough to play in Warhammer. Just play host, bro. Just play host. And if you don't want to play host, Outlander Claws still pretty fucking good. Steal Eric's list, change it a little bit because you're not Eric. No one's Eric, and it's pretty good. Biosanctic needs a metagame shift. I don't want to play Biosanctic in a world where Berserker Warband is a playable army. That sounds fucking awful. But
I mean,
it's pretty good at killing Thousand Suns.
it kills wizard with the fast. It's good at that.
You kill
That's true.
wizards with like you're like a fucking you're like the Spanish Inquisition the way you kill them witches.
Bam.
But you should probably play Outlander Claw or Host of Ascension if you want like a real 1,000-star. Final Day's garbage, guys. I don't know how to tell you guys all this. Final Day's not a good attachment. Nick Nanavai's just convinced you all that
I
because
mean,
he
even
can
Nick
11-9
doesn't think it's
everyone
that
in the
good. Nick called it a
Exactly.
blunt. The last time I talked to Nick about Final Day, he called it a blunter with downside. And I was like, what is that? What am I supposed to do with that, Nick?
And yeah, that's exactly how I feel about Final Day. And that sounds like, thank you, Nick. I really appreciate you that. Because the last time I heard Art speak of Final Day, they said it was the best attachment in the game and needed to be nerfed. And I was very upset with them for saying that because that's not been my experience.
All right.
Yeah.
The next question is from Aaron Imperialis Knight, which is, should psychic tests just come back next edition? No.
No, it's probably
No more
probably
psychic
best,
phases.
So, like, hear me out. I don't
No.
like the psychic phase, right? Not a huge fan.
Yeah.
Historically.
That's just because you played Tyranids that one time.
Man, that shit sucked. I don't like the psychic phase, but I do miss being able to interact with the psychic phase. Like, you know, a little 4-up deny, a little bit of this, a little deny the witch test for some random character, you know, a little bit of that, a little something. Now, the spells just happen. And if they fail them, they get to try again? What the fuck? This sucks. This is way worse. Put it back how it was.
The next question is from Isaac, which is, Innis, do you want to do a TTS Final Fantasy draft?
I don't really draft. I've drafted like once or twice in real life and a couple of times at Arena. It's not really my scope right now, but I'm down with the idea as long as I don't have to organize shit and it's a time I can arrange. Because it sounds like fun. But I don't know, man. I like playing. I like constructed formats. I like knowing what I'm playing with, if I'm being honest.
I love sealed drafts. I love getting 6 boosters.
Sealed is. I have
building
enjoyed
the deck
sealed
out of
more
it.
than draft. It's been my like, sort of immediate takeaway. But I actually
I love
I'm
doing
more
sealed
interested in
with
building.
friends.
I'm really close to trying to build a cube because I've got enough commander decks now. I'm like, I'll just build a cube. It'll be fine.
Next time I'm in Europe, we should just do a sealed with some draft boxes.
Yeah, dude. We'll get
That'd be fun.
get you over to Scotland
put-
for an event or something. It'll be fine. Come over for Celtic Cup or something.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. We'll arrange that
Ooh.
once you figure out like
We'll
the
figure
whole
it out.
having a job thing.
That is
It's important. Yeah.
If you guys, if anybody watching the show is in the biomedical field, reach out to Nathan. We could really use the help right now.
Or IT.
Yep.
Surely the Warhammer podcast listeners
I will-
have IT out there.
I will
Alright, I think
say,
we
my
have
wife.
2 more super chats that we need to
We
get.
do have
through
2.
before-
Wait, what was Nathan?
I will
gonna
say, my
Let him
wife was
finish.
very excited that I'm taking like my first break in 12 years from not going immediately to the next thing.
That's awesome.
So there you go. But
I'm going
I
to a
do
theme park
also-
tomorrow. I'm doing the same thing. I'm proud of you too, buddy.
thanks, buddy.
By the way, I have control over Martine's ability to watch the show right now. I have because I'm on his Wi-Fi. I can press the pause button so he can't watch it anymore.
It is.
Stop
all right.
fucking with Martine.
We've got 2 super chats. The first one is from Bubblefart69, which is
Hero of the people.
where hope for world eaters. World eaters hope is Bubblefart hope.
I mean, like I just said, there's a lot of decent things in World Eaters. Like
Every time I watch a World Eaters game, I'm like, this fucking slams.
it's cool.
Every time I watch a Hellbrute fail to 6-inch violently consolidate through an army, I'm like, you were so close.
Yeah. I've had one good Cascade, I think, so far.
My first game with World Eaters was like a 1,200 point Cascade, and I like can't
That'll never
Not-
happen again.
feel that in my bones. Like every time I look, I'm like, but it was that one time.
And then James Manlanget, thank you for the 10 New Zealander dollars, Kiwis, I assume. My friend Tom is probably going to read this, but I hate Host of Ascension. Why is everything in Deep Strike? Then get nuked out of the table. Cry emoji. Haha.
Have you considered
Ooh,
playing a
hashtag
Storm
skill
Raven?
issue.
Go and table them. It'll be fine. Half
Just
the
go
time.
first, bro.
Just go first. All right. Innes, do the last second plug so I can read the sheet and then.
All right. Obviously, thank you so much, everybody. We're going to do the last vestiges of the show information now, which is Nathan reading the spreadsheet. If you're at a tournament this weekend, especially if you're at the Braunschweig Super Major the German Super Major in Braunschweig, come and say hi. I'd love to meet some of our German fans. I met a few guys at your choice this weekend, but I'd love to meet more of you. I should have some static dice left with me, so come and grab me. I should be able to give you one. Unless you're like the 30th person, in which case I may be out by that point, in which case you get Scotland dice. It's fine. I got stuff. Please do have the very best of luck at any tournaments you're attending this weekend, unless you're playing one of my armies, in which case I hope you lose so he doesn't get nerfed. Please do check out all of our sponsors in the description below. If you'd like to get more involved with the show or chat to us between the times, patreon.com/statcheck. And if you'd like to get coaching from any of us, patreon.com/coaching. I am probably going straight to bed after this because holy crap, it's 1:30 in the morning. I hate this. I hate all of this. Nathan, can you do the thing now? Are we good?
All right. Cult of the High
I
Five
got there.
callouts.
Sick.
All right, you did.
$15 a month on Patreon gets you access to this tier where we'll say your name on the show.
And you get to customize it with this spreadsheet that 5 people are currently editing their things. So I'm giving them a couple extra seconds.
Idiots. Why didn't you do it in advance?
And then some people DM me now when they update it. And they're like, Nathan, I did it. I updated it. And I'm very proud of them every time.
I'm proud of all of you. Holy shit. The Goonhammer just posted their belt for the Goonhammer Open in Canada in the backstage Discord, and it's cool as fuck. You should go to the Goonhammer Open and try to win the one. It's in Winnipeg, so I don't recommend going to Winnipeg, but the belt's really cool.
All right. Thank you to Christopher, Rapid Ingresses at 6.9 inches Irvine. Thank you to Willow Weeks. Thank you to Dan F. Thank you to Luke, Dan F. McCarthy. Thank you to David. To the darkness I bring fire. To the ignorant I bring faith. To those who welcome these gifts may live, but I will visit naught but death and eternal damnation upon those who refuse them. Clark. Thank you to EIEI ear. That son of a bitch. Thank you to James H. Thank you to Colton, Dan F. Miller. Thank you to Fungus. Thank you to John, V8 Gang, going through administratum levels of bureaucracy right now. Thank you to Cam F. Dan, Morton, Hog Emoji. Thank you to Archon, waiting for T-Sun's game plans to actually have a failure point, Rahal. Thank you to Josiah Gattle. Thank you to Frankie, Sus Me Baby, one more time fresh. Thank you to Isaac. Hey, nothing personal, kid. It teleports 100 Zangors in front of your army without the fly keyword, Dorada. Thank you to Please Don't Doombolt Me. Thank you to Thomas. Turn the other cheek, Innis. I dare you for coition. Thank you to Steven. Apparently, it's possible to win Best Sportsmanship on Necrons, Ross. Congratulations, Stephen. Thank you to Tom. The questionable accents used to portray white scars in early audiobooks, H. They don't get that much better, Tom. Let's not. Thank you to maybe the 2d6 test or 3d6 test. If you push it, super heavy walkers could have true line of sight at all times. Thank you to Got Nothing Clever. Appreciate guys! Exclamation point. Thank you. And with that, everyone have a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. Good luck at all your events. Beat Innis on stream, just for fun.
Don't do that. No. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Why would you wish that on me? You absolute monster.